Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Check sound levels, stuff's moving, so I think we're live. Right, text to speech should be on as well for when I'm in VR shortly. Should be able to hear comments and stuff. Right, today I thought I would do some benchmarks because I've recently picked up the 7800 X3D. So I upgraded the streaming PC to become the new gaming PC because that had an Intel 9900K in it. And that was mainly for streaming duties. And then the gaming PC and editing PC for videos was a separate one, Intel 12900K. So I'll swap them around. So the streaming PC is now the Intel 12900K. And what was the stream PC is now the gaming PC with the new CPU in it. So I thought, I've been doing some benchmarks, and I thought I might as well just live stream some of them, because I'm going to have to do some baselines and then switch back to the 12900K and redo them. So I thought, well, I might as well stream some of them. And also, I'm using the Valve Index today, and the reason for that is that this has a really good refresh rate of 120 Hertz. So a bit like when you benchmark 2D games, it's really the low resolutions like 1080p where you can really push the frame rates higher. Once you start getting into higher resolution headsets like the G2, more of the benchmarks will become GPU bound. So I thought this would probably actually be a better starting point. Also, it gives me a chance to use this headset a bit more because generally I've never really used it on 120 Hertz for the reason that it's always struggled on the CPU front. So the plan is today I'm going to check out Dirt Rally 2, Assetto Corsa Competitizione, and being the Grand Prix is today, I'm going to check out F122, probably go to the Miami track of course, and yeah, collect the stats, log them, and then bring them up on screen, and then I'll probably offline do the same again, but on the Intel 12900K, and then we can see how they compare. So I do have older benchmarks I could use, but the thing is the NVIDIA drivers have updated quite a bit since I last did them, as have the builds of the game. So we're on a new version of ACC now. It's like 1.9. There's an issue with the benchmark word in your title, is there? Huh. It's not what I'm seeing. Maybe in the thumbnail, maybe? Oh yeah, benchmarks. Well spotted. Alright, I'll correct the thumbnail later. Eagle-eyed. Thank you. So yeah, benchmark this. The other thing I wanted to discuss was I've pre-ordered the Pimax Crystal. So I don't know when that'll arrive. So I've used my own funds and money from you guys from YouTube views to go towards it. So it'll be a totally independent hands-on review. I don't know how long it's going to take for it to arrive because I think there's going to be quite a backlog. It was I was trying to decide between that and the Aero, and because the Aero had been out for 2 years, I thought, well, I'll go for something newer. Although the Aero is on sale, so I almost bought it. So I'm going for the Crystal, and that's mainly because it's got the bigger field of view, which is comparable to the Index. And that's another reason I want to use the Index, because when I jump from the G2 to this, it's quite a noticeable improvement in FOV. So before I start getting set up, I thought I'd just check out the specs on the Crystal website, so you can see what I'm letting myself in for. So I know VR Flight Sim Guy has been covering this and comparing it to the Aero, and so has Sebastian at MRTV. So I like to try out myself. So the main thing is the humongous resolution. So no doubt when this arrives, I'll be putting it through its paces, benchmarking it, and see how it performs. I've never had a Pimax headset before, so I'm a bit cautious. Overall, it looks good. I do have some gripes, but it's the best, from what I gather, it's the best VR experience in terms of image quality you can get for the money at the moment for simming, which is predominantly what I use VR headsets for. Hammerhead shark headset. It is. So, and also, I bet no my luck, if I ordered the Aero, which is on sale right now, the Aero 2 will be out in a few months, and no doubt the Deckard will as well. So, overall it looks pretty good. I just don't know how good the software is going to be. Also got this big resolution. You've got local dimming, which I don't think the Aero is implemented yet. I believe it can do it, but I don't think it supports it. It's got eye tracking, and with the 35 PPD lens, you can have up to 125 degrees horizontal FOV, but apparently it's very comparable to the Index. So that's the thing. So with the G2, I like the resolution of the G2, but I find the sweet spot a bit too small, so it's really sharp in the middle and goes blurry quick, and it's also a bit binocular vision. So if I can get that experience combined with the Index, I'll be happy. I don't really care about the tracking quality, because I'm going to be sat in a seat most of the time, or in my chair doing flight sim stuff. What did niggle me though is these battery packs. I don't understand. So Pimax have been saying the reason they've had to have batteries is because it's a requirement of the XR2 chipset. Strange, but okay. I mean, battery power, it's not some special magical power. It's going to be DC power, right? How does the chip know it's some magical power? That's one. Two, the Quest has an XR2 chip, and you can, guess what? You can plug it in and charge it whilst you're using it. So why couldn't they have provided a battery pack with a transformer that can charge the battery as you're using it? So apparently it'll take like up to 5 hours to discharge a full battery. So in practice, it's not really much of an issue, but it just seems like a stupid issue to have in the first place. So I don't know, maybe someone, an electronics expert who knows the XR2 chip can explain to me, because that does seem a strange excuse that because of the XR2 it has to have a battery and it can't be charged as you use it. But yeah, so yeah, enough of that waffle. I guess it's a case of setting up Dirt Rally 2, which is going to be the first game to get set up. So bear with me as I start to fire this stuff up. Oh, the other thing to mention, I think I've put it back on this screen. I might start setting up a membership on YouTube, just because if people ask me, what are the best settings for this? What are the really specific questions for VR? And I might do it so members get access to asking asking for specific benchmarks. And for DCS and ACC, you can send replay files. So if someone's wondering how will this game run on this particular setup that I've probably got now, I've got enough headsets and PCs and GPUs down that I can probably test it. So I might have an area where you can upload your replay file, I can benchmark it and then send it back to the user or something, don't know. But anyway, yeah, these benchmarks take a lot of time, so I don't know. What do you think? Thoughts in the comments below. If I set up a membership, would people actually bother? Would it be useful? Yes or no? Right, I think that's it. Excuse me whilst I get set up. So anything to mention, all benchmarks today. I'm not using the OpenXR toolkit on purpose, so this is totally bog standard, don't need to download anything out of the box Valve Index. So this is using SteamVR's OpenVR API probably. It's just using SteamVR vanilla. So I've not changed anything. Turned off Open Composite and all the rest. So it's just to see how this would run if you just plugged in an Index and ran it with this setup, which is the 7800 X3D and a 4090. Don't think I've said that. I'm going to run this at native resolution, 120 Hz, but when I bring up Steam in a second, I'll show you the settings before we get going. You can't see the screen yet because I'm still setting up. Hello. I did give this a quick test earlier and it did work. Right. Okay, that was interesting. I've got a fan next to one of the base stations. It might be interfering with it. Bizarre. Always the way. Live streaming. Well, this will be a section I'll need to edit out on the replay of the stream. Also, I need to check text-to-speech is working. I think it is. Probably the light coming through the windows as well, actually. That's the only thing that's changed. Close the blinds. Midday sun beaming through. Close down Steam. Okay, we will be live at some point. Well, let's reboot the PC. Don't know. Decided to die on me. Good start to a benchmark, eh? Well, how do you think of having a separate streaming PC, you see? I can reboot seamlessly and no one will know. So how are we all doing, chat? And watching the F1 later? Hopefully we're watching it. I think it's around 8 o'clock UK time tonight. Probably be watching it with Lincoln. Hit reboot. I wanted to stare over there because my active monitor is on my desk, not the one right in front of me. Steam VR. Let's launch Steam VR first, then launch the game perhaps. Kind of weird, it's getting a white screen. Like it's not detecting the tracking. Let's move the fan out of the way completely. Sorry about this, folks. Technical setups whilst live streaming. And technical issues, should I say. Well, maybe one of my base stations is showing up blue. Shows how often I use them. The thing with base stations and outside in tracking instead of inside out, any reflections in your room can cause problems. Like mirrors and stuff. I did test it earlier, so... Should have just got the game running before the stream and left it. But... there we go. I will be back. I'm just going to move the fan out of the room completely, see if that's messing around with the base stations. Empty chair stream for the win. So, if you're still here, just power cycled the index, redoing the room setup. Okay, basically reset the index up from scratch. Well, at least I won't have to rely on that for the crystal. Right. Hopefully. That'll work. Right. Hopefully we're seeing VR stuff now. Sorry about that, everyone. So when it flashes white, like that, it means I'm obscuring the base stations, and what was happening, I'd put it on and I just get constant white. So obviously something has gone wrong with the tracking temporarily. But anyway, we progress. I'll edit that bit out of the replay of the live stream. Thank you if you're still sticking around to watch. Okay, so this might be where we start the stream from. So, ooh. Oh, I got a big position thing right in front of me. So I want to show you the settings. 120 Hertz, that's the resolution. We could do with turning the wall activation wall height off. Well, I'll do it, that fixes it. So, brightness, motion smoothing off, so reprojection should be off for those tests. And we will fire up the game. There shouldn't be any game specific settings. I'll check in a sec once the game's loaded up. If anyone's watching, could you just type something in chat so I can check the text-to-speech is working. I can see, because I've not used the index for a while, there's a whole bunch of updates required for the headset and the trackers. I wonder if it was the base stations were auto-updating themselves during the stream. Oh, that was it. But Steam guy went, I need to do a firmware update because you're live streaming. Right. Have we got game audio? No, we do not. There we go. We now have sound. Hurrah! Okay, let's get the show on the road. So we just want to double check the game settings, make sure Steam hasn't meddled with that. Video settings, Dirt Rally 2, all the same. Use global settings, which I brought up a moment ago. And what we will do is fire up the benchmark counter in a moment. Let's do a time trial. Actually, before that, I'll go to graphics. So you can see what I've got it set to. So I've got this set to CMAA and 2 times filtering. I could turn those up further, but I want to make sure I hit the 120 Hz most of the time, which I should do fine with that. And everything else is on ultra. So the only thing I can turn up further is these 2. So because we're running 120 Hz, I believe it's something like 8.3 milliseconds I need to hit on average. Yeah, 8.3 recurring milliseconds we want for frame time. So that should give the CPU a bit of a workout. Get to the track. Do this one. Let's take Subaru. And once we've loaded into the scene, I'll fire up SPS VR. Not visible. It is, just a little bit. Move that over slightly. Let's move that so. How's that? Got better. Probably best. Right. Yeah, we should be good to go. Took 20 minutes. That's not too loud.
5, 4, 3, 2,
That's all right.
1, go. 50, 3 right over crest, long tightens, into 4 left, tightens, turn square left. Keep right over 60, 2 left over crest, tightens.
Check something. What is it? I'll actually click the screen there. So what's our average FPS? 116 at the minute.
5 left, and 2 right long, tightens over crest, into 3 left.
That's the average, sorry. So it's the one on the top left is the actual. The average is probably lower because we've been on different screens to start the replay. So the counter.
Into 3 left long, into 4 right over crest bump. And keep left over crest.
So jump into the index from using like the G2, you definitely notice the screen door effect, but the extra FOV is really nice.
Keep right over jump, into 3 left long, opens over crest, and keep right into 4
and this runs buttery smooth, 120 Hz. And it looks a lot better than on the Quest 2. So on the Quest 2 you can run that 120 Hz as well, but I find the link compression doesn't seem to handle that high refresh rate. I don't know if
left long of a crest.
the quality of the codec changes to handle the frame rate increase.
Into 6 right.
But I was thinking,
Left through narrow gate.
if someone
30.
wanted a cheap VR headset
Crest.
with a wide field of view, getting a used index. Okay, I had some technical
5 left
setup
of a crest.
issues just
Into 5
now.
right
That's
of a
because I don't
jump.
really have it set up often.
Into 3 left long.
It runs so well.
30. 4 left
And
long of a crest.
I benchmarked this game
5
first
right
of
a
all
crest.
when I got the 4090. I was still on the G2,
Into 4 right of a jump.
and this game, Dirt Rally,
Into 6
because it's been out quite a while.
170 of a bump.
It was made back when like the 1080 Ti was the
Into 4
top
right,
dog
keep in of
card,
a
so
crest jump.
this on a 4090
4 left.
is just so easy to run now,
Keep left of a 80.
even without any additional plugins or third-party tools like
Keep left of a 30.
OpenXR Toolkit. So this is running native, no
Left through logs.
foveated rendering or anything like that through OpenXR Toolkit. This is just Steam VR.
30. 4 right. Opens of a crest long. Tightens turn. Hairpin right. Into 6 left of a
Brake.
crest. Keep right of a 60. Turn 3 left long. Opens of a crest. Bad camber. 6 right of a crest and turn square right through gate. 60. Crest
Oopsie.
into 5 right of a jump.
Such a good
Into
game
3
this.
left long. Tightens of a crest. Into 5
I
right
hope
long.
whatever
Tightens.
rally game Codemasters come out with next,
And
it stands up as the test of time as well as this has.
into 4 left, opens of a crest, 50 of a crest, 5 left, 60. Don't cut.
So I might
3 left
try
long.
a rain
Into
course
5
at
right
night
of a crest,
next or something.
logs, 80.
Because at the minute, CPU's got no problem. CPU frame time like 2.2
Tightens of a crest,
milliseconds on
80.
average.
5 left, into 2 right long tightens. Into 3 left,
What I might do is after
4
each
right, into 2 left long
section,
tightens.
save the FPS data.
80 over bumps. 4 left long, tightens of a crest, into 2 right of a crest long, opens into 4 right of a
It's
crest,
some text
into
to
slow
speech, it's a
3
little
left
quiet,
long,
I have to
tightens
crank it
turns
up a bit.
square left unseen, uphill. Keep right of a 50, 5 right of a big crest.
So I've not popped the
into 6
the
left
chat
long,
out on
tightens 3,
purpose.
tightens,
I don't want to put any extra load on the
into turn 2
PC.
right, tightens.
So I'll check
Into
comments
3 left,
in a minute. I've
tightens of
turned up
crest,
a bit like
into
text to
4
speech.
right, into 4 left,
Ah,
into 2 right tightens, into 4 left, 5 right, 4 left over bump crest tightens slow, keep left over 80 past junction, turn square right. Into 3 left, opens over crest, into 4 right long over crest. Into 3
Oh,
left over
nice.
crest, 30, turn hairpin right. Into 4 left long over crest, tightens. 100.
it's what
Don't cut.
have you tried that in the
6 left
rain
over
with a
jump.
full grid?
Keep right over 30, 6 left
That's,
long, tightens 2, tightens.
The rain seems to be CPU demanding, and the more cars I've noticed.
80, 6 left over crest past junction, 40, 6 left over big jump, 80, keep middle of a crest,
I will
jump
try
slow,
ACC in a
30,
bit,
6 left into
so I'll
turn,
probably do
open
each
end
one
right.
for about half an hour. So if you missed the start, I had a bit of an intro and then I faffed around for about 20 minutes
50.
getting my base stations to work because they were doing
Left over
an
crest,
update, it turns out,
50,
whilst they're
3 left
streaming.
over crest, tightens, don't cut, into 4 right long,
So I
opens,
plan to do
slow,
Dirt Rally for about
30,
half an hour, then ACC,
4
and
right long into turn,
F122.
hairpin left. 80,
Can't brake turn. Come on.
6 left, 30.
But yeah, this is locked at 120.
Keep middle of a crest,
On ultra,
50,
no
4
sweat.
right of a crest, bump,
This is the funny thing, how long's the Valve
6
Index
right,
been out now?
80,
Is it 3 or 4 years
crest
it
into
must be?
5 right long, tightens
Maybe
through gate
5,
and
I don't know.
water splash,
Maybe it's not
jump,
5.
100,
But it's only now we've got the hardware that can max it out.
Into
So
one left long.
if Valve
Opens
release a
too
headset
long.
this year, how many more years will it be before you're able to get the most out of it? Or how many more years before we can push the crystal? I hope to get my hands on.
Into 4 right, tightens through water splash, and
To be fair,
2
it can
right
run the
long,
G2
tightens through
on all
gate.
settings in this game,
Opens over
so it's
crest,
partly the
60.
game's
5 left,
more forgiving
opens
because it's
50.
older.
6 right over crest, 60 over finish, 4 left long, opens over crest to stop. Well done.
Right, before let me catch up on chat. So I missed a few comments because I had the volume a little low. Holy Junior. Your Kink's friend. Oh, Lincoln's, yeah, that's right. Frank, you're on HP Reverb G2 6950 XT Assetto Corsa 200%. What's that? 5,000 by 5,000 content manager with no shader patch install. Oh, Assetto Corsa, sorry, I thought you meant Assetto Corsa Competitizione. Yeah, that runs, surprisingly, that runs a bit better than ACC. Assetto Corsa does, which is older. Assetto Corsa Competitizione is a nightmare to run. Hole and Dan Sock. Hey, how's it going? Looks like my life forward path 24/7. And what did you put, Paul? Do all PC users think PSC? No, I like all of them. I really like the PSVR 2 and stop FPSVR a sec. Just want to be benchmarking the menu. I think GT7 is great for the money what you're getting. I've spent a lot of time on it. The good thing is the simplicity, it just works. As if you just caught the start of the stream, you saw how much time I spent faffing about. So let's exit FPS VR. Okay. Right, so that should be the first one recorded. Let's double check that. Where's our music gone? Need some background music. So it is reading. I've got it on. I just didn't have it loud enough. I've rebalanced it now so I can hear you now. All right, here we go. So here's. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can. So this was the test we just did. So on the top we've got the frame time in milliseconds. So the thin turquoise line, that's the CPU, and the blue solid block is the GPU time. So the pink line here is what we need for 120 Hz, so 8.3 milliseconds. So we're totally crushing that on the index, no problem. And the frame time on the CPU is way down the bottom. So when I get around to doing this all again on the older CPU, the 12900K, I'll have a like-to-like comparison, but I haven't got a recent benchmark of that. So that's sort of the point of this. So yeah, that was, I think, the Wales track dry daytime, and we've got the low 1% info here. So the CPU low 1% was 2.8 milliseconds, and the low 0.1% was 3.1 milliseconds. So nowhere near that 8.3 milliseconds. And for GPU time, it was 5.5 on the 1%, and on the 0.1%, 5.9 milliseconds. So totally locked at 120 Hz, no problem, Dirt Rally 2. But that was no surprise because you can do that on the G2 in this game. I might see run another test quickly now on Dirt Rally, but we're going to try a wet track at night. If I can remember how to do that. Because if I remember correctly, I think I have to set up a championship or something. Menu. Okay, custom. Add an event. what would be good to see. Any preference of anyone watching? New England? Or Poland's good. Or Finland. There's loads of jumps in Finland. Go to Finland. Just take the Group Bs. Yes, one. I'll take the RS200. These things fly. How do I set the weather? There we go. Night. Dusk. Can do dusk heavy rain? And something that's a bit longer. $10 miles. Do another one, why not? Night. We'll do it for a shorter one. There you go. One wet one, longer than a short night one. So dusk wet. Will this work? Now if I need opponents. Hardcore damage off, medium difficulty. I think AI should be on by default. Don't know. Alright. Time to pick a car. Either going to be the Beast S1 or the RS200. Go to the nimble little RS200. Okay. Get the benchmark software back up. We'll leave it there. It's fine. Less faffing, the better. Okay. So GPU usage going up a bit. It's around 80% utilization.
80, flat crest into 6 right long, tightens 5 over crest. Good luck.
Brake on.
5.
Ooh, there we go.
3, 2.
We are constrained.
Go. Flat left.
So it looks like GPU constrained now. Oh, it's only at the start though.
Tightens 5 over crest. 60.
It wasn't CPU bound either, just GPU.
6 left, extra long, tightens 3 over crest.
Have I lost the tyre? I was looking at the benchmark counter, not the road.
Jump into 4 right over crest.
Right, we're good.
Open 6, very long over crest. Flat jump, 50. Flat left
Oh,
over
we had a one stutter there, felt that.
5 left over jump. 150.
Maybe I shouldn't have used the Group
5
B car.
right long over crest. 100 over bumps. Crest and 6 left long over crest. A dip. Tightens 5 left over jump. 100 over crest, flat right over crest, jump into caution, 50 for left over crest, 80. Flat right over jump, 150. 5 right over jump, 100.
I think it's going to be a case of can I complete the benchmark?
Jump into 6 left, extra long, tightens over jumps, 50.
Rather than, will it perform okay?
Right of a crest, opens 6, extra long, to keep right of a jump, and
The only thing with benchmarking Dirt Rally is there's no
to keep middle of a crest, into
replay that you can save and rerun on different setups.
opens of a crest,
So you've got live run benchmarks only, really,
6 left, tightens 3 of a crest, opens
unless someone knows there's a way to access the replay files.
4 of a crest, opens 6 right long of a crest, 6 left long, past junction, opens 50, middle of a big jump, 30, 6 left long, opens of a crest, a jump, 60,
This is so cool.
big jump,
I've played this for ages.
200, 6 right,
Good.
tightens 4, keep in, opens 30, that right of a jump, 80, 5 right of a jump, 50, 5 left, opens 6
I'm
of a crest.
benchmarking, honest. Alright. I'll return. So yeah, I think what I'll do, I'll get to the end of this section, and then I'll check out Assetto Corsa Competitizione next.
Flat left of a jump, opens long of a crest,
Not sure if that's straight on or left then.
a caution crest, 4 left of a dip, 70, 6 right of a crest, 100, 5 right of a crest, jump,
Well,
and
we had that slight stutter at the very start of the race, but we haven't had it since.
and keep middle of a jump, into 6 left, and
Oh,
6 right long, opens of a jump, to 4 left of a crest, 50,
yeah. Oh my god. Oh, it still
right
works.
of a crest,
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it to the end.
into 6
We'll
left
try.
long, tightens 4 of a crest, 50, 5 right, tightens of a crest, 200,
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head.
5
It's either
left,
4,000,
50,
high 4,000s or 5,000 something.
6 right,
I think it might be a 4,000 something panel, and you have to render the scene slightly higher because of the lens correction
into flat left,
to be 100% native res.
4 right of a crest, 50, 6 right, 80,
Well,
4 left long,
so
100,
yeah, we're on the index. We can push it to 120 hertz. So I believe the crystal will go 120
right,
out of the box, and handbrake. It will support up to 144 hertz, 160 in developer mode or something.
and
But
flat right of a crest,
I think you're gonna need like next gen GPU to get that, unless it's a very basic game.
120, 5 left long,
And make use of all the eye tracking that it's got with foveated rendering.
tight, 6 right, 60, keep middle of a big jump, and slow crest, 30, turn, 1 right,
So I think it's got the capability of eye tracking, but I don't know if anyone actually got eye tracking working yet.
opens of a crest, 150,
Come on.
flat right of a crest, jump, 90,
But this is actually a good way to
60,
give the CPU a good test, because this is like the equivalent of playing a game in 1080p,
extra long, into
whereas the
caution,
G2
5 left of a crest,
is more like a 4K game.
100 of a crest,
But it's had no problems at all in this game. And I didn't think it would really, because it plays really well on the
6
G2.
right of a jump, into 6 left of a
ACC,
jump,
which we're going to check out next, that'll be interesting. I expect we'll have
6 right
still
of a
have some
jump,
CPU bottlenecks,
80,
especially at 120 hertz, but we'll see.
to big jump, 80,
Almost at the end. This poor little Ford's been battered to death.
right, tightens of a crest, opens long, 70. 5 left, tightens 3 of a
Right,
crest long.
let's stop it there. I'm not going to wait to the end.
5 left, tightens
Oh no,
3 of a
just
crest
recenter me.
long.
Cool.
80 of a crest into 6 right, 50.
This thing is just so
Unseen,
fast.
6 left,
Greek
60.
beat cars are lethal.
6 right of a jumps, a dip, and flat right of a big crest into 6 left, and 6 right of a jump into 6 left, extra long of a crests, tightness of a jump, 100.
So today it's the 7800 X3D AMD for RTX 4090.
Flat long crest, 50. 5 right, tightens of a crest long.
On the valve index.
6 right,
But my previous,
6 left.
my other
extra
CPU,
long,
which I used to
opens of
use
a crest,
for VR stuff, as an Intel 12900K.
50.
So that's what I'm going to compare it to. I'm going to re-benchmark that. Probably waiting in a week or next week.
Fall right of a crest, opens long to flat crest, 80.
Come on. But I went for the B650 motherboard. Asus Tough.
Keep middle of
That was just over £200. So pretty good value actually. The X3D was 450, and the RAM I got 6,000. Whoa! I killed the car. 6,000 megahertz C30 RAM. But I am running it at 5.8 because with Expo enabled, doing memory tests, it wasn't stable at 6,000, which can happen. It's not always guaranteed you get the speed of Expo on, especially on the lower end motherboards. But good thing with the X3D chips is you don't need super fast RAM. That's what the extra level 3 cache is for, really.
Middle of a long crest, 40, 5 right, tight, 5 left. To keep middle of a crest, 80.
So far, the only game I've done back-to-back comparisons with is in DCS, and that's favoured the extra cores on the Intel at the moment. Because this is a 8-core, 16-thread CPU. The 12900 is a 24-core. It's got 8 cores hyper-threaded with 8 efficiency cores. And the way DCS is written, it looks like it's making use of those extra cores. Oh, he's not happy. Yeah, I suck. Yeah, I know. They shouldn't give me a Group B car, I'm sorry.
Did the tyres perform okay in that stage?
The tyres are fine. I'm going to stay at the car. Right, stop that benchmark. Exit. Right, let's see how that compares. So you can't go any higher. No, this is like the best of the best with honours at the moment. It's considered the new king of gaming CPUs, but it depends on the game, and that's the test. So, like I was saying, from what I've seen from DCS so far, it seems to be favouring more cores than what this 7800 X3D has. Right, so let's have a look at that run. So that was the wet. That was dry. That was wet. So GPU utilization's moved over a bit from, because it's lower res on the index. So at 120 hertz. There you go, you can see the spec of the PC. Don't know if that's coming through on the stream. Might be too small for you guys. You should say the resolution somewhere. 2016 by 2240. It's the 100% SteamVR resolution. 2016 by 2240. Okay. And I was only using 50 to 60% GPU on dry and in the wet. It gives it more of a workout. We did have some spikes at the start. So what were those? Let's look at the wet one. The low 1% on GPU time was 7.6 milliseconds. And the low 0.1% was 8.5 milliseconds on GPU frame time. Same for the CPU frame time. The low 1% of 3.1 milliseconds, and the 99.9 or the 0.1% percentile, 0.1% low, should I say, was 4.4 milliseconds. So just to sum up, the 1% lows for GPU 7.6, and the low 1% lows for CPU is 3.1, way below the 8.6 we needed. Honestly, well, it certainly will help. So I do use the G2 as my main driver. So the reason I'm using the index today is because it'll run 120 Hertz, and with a lower resolution, I can I'll be less likely to be CPU bound than I will compared to the G2. So it's really to see what cases am I CPU bound, and does the 7800 X3D help in that situation? Because previously I never used to run this on 120 Hertz because some games like ACC, it may still be a problem. It's still too CPU bound, but we'll see if the 7800 X3D helps in that situation now. Okay, so let's close off the rally. Go to Assetto Corsa Competitizione. We'll do a couple of tracks on that, on ACC, and then we'll finish off on F122. And then it'll be time to chill out and watch the real F1. I was watching that tonight. Menu. There we go. There we are. That's fine. Oh, I need to change my steering wheel setup as well, don't I? You can't see that because you're seeing the screenshot info. Free. Load. All right. Anything else I needed to load up? No, I didn't. Let's close that. It's not too loud. Okay. All right. Okay, options. Video. So we've got it on VR Epic. Scroll down. Opponent visibility 32. So this is, I'll change it. I do have a VR custom G2 benchmark set up, but I won't use that today, which is based on the VR Epic, but I lower it for the G2 because what happens is Where is it? It does a VR pixel density, which is essentially super sampling. It super samples it up to like 140, which on the G2 is way more than these because it's higher res. So I think some of these game presets were made before the high resolution headsets would come out. And how these presets differ for 2D games, usually on 2D, the graphics preset just changes the quality of the graphics, like, you know, the shading, shadows, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really change the resolution, but for these presets, it does. So anyway, because we're using the Index, it's a low resolution headset, we can get away with running the standard out-the-box VR Epic. But what I'm saying is if you're using like the Reverb G2 or higher, then don't use VR Epic out the box with that pixel density, because you don't need it at such a high resolution. It's just a waste of time. But we'll leave it just so if anyone's got an Index and they want to do a like-for-like comparison, all they have to do is click on the VR Epic profile, which is what I've got set here without any tweaks at all. DLSS, all that stuff is all off, so this is all native, no OpenXR toolkit on purpose. We're just seeing what the raw performance is like out of the box. Okay. So single player. So I think I had it. Maybe I'll try this wet setup first, because I was tinkering with this the other day, but on the G2, so I'll see what it's like on the Index. I expect we will get some CPU bottlenecking going on, but how much? Don't know. So 5-minute race, opponent count, maximum. We want to start pretty much at the back. Let's start a few cars in, so the mirror gets used, but most of the traffic should be ahead, and we should see all the opponents. Okay, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, 2 o'clock. Race, weather, medium rain, in the Porsche at Alton Park. 5 minutes with the AI, with all the cars on the track.
Alright, conditions are wet. We have some slippery curves, and also watch out for your braking distance.
Okay, set up. Get wet. Chris, if you're watching, from Amigos, he was asking about ACC. Well, here's your benchmark for the Index. Quite relaxing with that rain noise, actually. Okay.
Going double file.
Oh, you're alright. Oh, you know what we forgot? Our benchmark software. Right. It's like, what's the performance? Oh yeah, it's not even loaded up. Right. Let's get that up. Okay. There we go. Oh, yeah, we're getting a few spikes there. Okay. Not bad, though. So this is like worst case scenario in the wet with all these cars. Might try Bathurst next in the dry.
Green light, go, go, go.
It's when you get to the pinch points when there's lots of cars, we're having an issue. catch them up. Only a very short race, 3 minutes to go. Well, at least it's putting a decent amount of demand on the processor, which is what we want to see. So to mitigate this, you'd back off the number of visible cars. It's probably best bet. Saying that, GPU's at 80% usage. That's because we're on the VR Epic same. And if you wanted more performance, then you'd use something like the OpenXR toolkit to enable foveated rendering. But this is just a raw out-of-the-box benchmark without any third-party plugins. Actually pretty good now. Now it's settled down. We're locked at 120. With all those cars in front of us.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
That's so smooth as well. 120 Hz in the wet, VR Epic. Nice. Yeah, baby. As I was saying earlier in the Dirt Rally test, if you weren't sure what headset to get, if you see one of these cheap on eBay, like 300 quid for an index setup or something, I'd attempt to get one. Just to play at 120 Hz like this. I won't pay the £1,000 price now. You might as well just get a crystal or something newer. But if you get a full working one of these, just try out 120 Hz. I mean, there's definite screen door effect. But you can see past that, it's so smooth. Headset is that, Frank? Is that a G2? You did say earlier, but I forgot. Catch the AI up now. Don't know what's set up. Probably quite high. 20 seconds. We'll go to the bar first. We'll drift in the wet. Yeah, and let's cut the corner.
Warning for exceeding track limits.
Oh shit. I'm gonna get back into ACC again. I've not played it properly in ages. This track in the wet, it's so much fun. You can tell it is slightly smoother than 90 hertz, but there's not much in it. It's not like the jump from, say, 70 to 90 hertz.
Good job. You did the best you could. Take it easy. Being lab.
Alright. Pull over. Stop that benchmark. Okay, let's go to a dry track now. Should run much easier. They handle that pretty well anyway. Does it say that? Oh, that's me coming off. Right. Where to next? Bathurst is good because it's got the elevation, so you get to see all the cars, so that will stress. That the system, or Evil Laguna, Sakharov. Let's do Mount Panorama. And then we want to go clear. We'll go nighttime, I suppose. What time or day? Keep it day, I suppose. Oh no, go night. 35 minutes, could do both. 11 PM, night time. This game can handle it. Unlike Auto Ballista 2, if you play MS2 and run it for night time, it just... Although that game's super optimized, the one thing it's not optimized is opponent headlights. So you've got loads of cars behind you with the headlights on, it just doesn't handle the reflections at all. Other than that, it runs really well. Okay, let's do that. The overlay on. Not the benchmark. So I'm showing you the Steam VR preview screen. That's why you can see the menu HUD. Otherwise, if it is just the game view, you don't get to see the menu items on the left in this view. So normally it cuts the frame rate in half for the viewer, but it's full frame rate for me. So it's probably 60 Hz, which is fine for YouTube anyway, for you guys. Go aggressive. Oh, how much fuel is it? Yeah, I don't need that much fuel. 30 litres. 28, it's more than enough for 5 minutes. Can't remember what the AI is set to, it might be 95 or something.
Go in double file.
Lights, action. Pretty much a full grid of AI. A little bit.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Some longer frame times there in the corner. So only, what's that, 8 point something, 8.6? So we're only just over the 8.3 required for 120 Hz. So imagine at G2 resolutions, like 90, that Won't be a problem at all. And as the cars start to spread out, we get no issues at all. I've not, I mean, I've tried OpenXR. I have tried setting the OpenXR run times the default in Steam, but I might as well just bypass it altogether if I'm using like the G2. Not tried that on the Index, because I just wanted to have it without any plugins as the benchmark should someone want to retest this on their own to see how it compares to their CPU and GPU setup. So the only benefit you'd get running Index with OpenXR Toolkit now is the foveated rendering, which for the 4090 doesn't need it now because we're on VR Epic. But on the G2, which you know is a WMR headset, there's an overhead for running the SteamVR plugin, so you might as well run Open Composite and run in OpenXR mode to get better performance. But I did try on the G2 running ACC via SteamVR with the OpenXR runtime set as the default runtime, and it didn't run as good as bypassing Steam altogether. The only reason I wanted to do that is so I could pop the chat out, but there's a more efficient way to see chat. There's a kneeboard app you can get. I don't know, I think it's OpenXR kneeboard or something like that, which I need to look into installing. So get past this AI without running into the barrier. Wall there. See all those cars in front now?
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now. Give it to him.
So I think the only blip you saw was on like on the formation lap, turn 1. Isn't bad, because it's running 120 hertz. I think it's 8.6 milliseconds. We'll have to check the logs in a minute. We'll try some F122 next. Holy shit. Yeah, you will. You'll get better performance with on the G2 using the OpenXR toolkit and bypassing Steam altogether. But the Index is a native Steam VR headset. I mean, Steam has had some recent updates as well, anyway, but it still runs bad on the G2 going via Steam VR because it's going via a plugin. Also, the reason I want to run it in native Steam VR mode is for FPS VR. The benchmarking information is very minimal, but for the OpenXR toolkit, I mean, it does what it needs to. It just outputs the frame times, but visually to show people on stream and stuff. Whoa! Yeah. So for G2, stick with OpenXR toolkit and bypass Steam VR altogether. This app that you can see for FPS VR only works for Steam VR, so not an OpenXR tool.
Good job, mate. You did your best to bring it back to the pits.
Right, okay, just went off at the end there. But we had enough data, we'll be able to see what the Alton Park in the wet and this one looks like. Okay, stop the counter. Okay. So, stats. So, that's Alton Park in the wet. Here, there's cars. A little bit. So, what can we see? So, Alton Park in the wet, first of all, CPU low percent lows was 9.1 milliseconds. So that's why we had that slight stutter, because we went over the 8.3 milliseconds that we needed. And the low 0.1% was 12.1. So you can see, you can't really see it on the stream, but on this chart, there's some like really faint wavy lines there where we went slightly over. The average, let's have a look. GPU frame time, highest that went for low percent, 1% was 9.3 milliseconds. So that was the low 0.1%. 0.1% lows were 9.3 on the GPU, and the 0.1% lows on CPU 12.1. So we were, in fact, CPU bottlenecks still briefly in the wet, but at 12.1 milliseconds. That's slightly higher than the 11.1 milliseconds required for 90 Hz. So even on G2 best case scenario, with a full grid of cars, which that would have in the wet, you'd have some slight pausing at the very start of the grid still, based on that. But it's not bad. I mean, the average delivered was 119.36 frames per second, and it's only at the start of the race you had that on that formation lap. Other than that, it was silky smooth. And then just now at Bathurst in the night, click between the two, there's actually more CPU utilization. No, same amount of CPU utilization, it's just more distributed evenly around 3 milliseconds rather than spread out, because the 1% lows for the CPU time was 5.5 seconds at night, and the low 0.1% was 11 milliseconds for the CPU, and on GPU low 1% was 8.5 milliseconds, and the low 0.1% was 9.2 milliseconds, and that also averaged 119.53. So it ran both night and wet pretty easy, 120 Hz on the index is the conclusion. Cool. That's good. Right. Time's it. How long could we be going for? An hour and a half. So next game, and the final game, will be F122. Okay, let's get the wheel set up for the right profile. Number 2. Did I actually change my wheel rim? I'll swap over to McLaren. Yeah, why not? Let's have a breather. As we get into F1 racing mode. McLaren wheel rim time. Hey. So F122 coming up. Where's the recenter? Let's make sure I've got the right wheel profile. That's the right one. Logitech's good. Right, graphic settings. Video mode. So that's the screen resolution of the 2D spectator screen. So generally you want to run that as small as possible unless you're using it for streaming or something. I'm not using it for streaming, I'm using the SteamVR view. So that's why I've got it lower. Windowed. Find that's the best looking anti-aliasing mode, TAA with Fidelity FX sharpening. Dynamic resolution's off. And then that keeps saying custom even though I've set it to ultra. So, where to first? Remember how to race. A new career. That's it. Solo mode. Grand Prix, that's it. Create new. Yeah. And of course, we've got the new F1 game coming out June. It's June the 6th, or it's 13th. It's next month, anyway. I hope to be covering on the channel. Right, it's got to be Miami, hasn't it? Did you pick Ferrari or McLaren? We should take Alonso's car. Well, this is last season's Alfa Romeo. Not Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, sorry. Still got Sebastian Vettel. Let's take the Ferrari then. At least it's correct. I only want a short race anyway. Mission lap short. So that 5 laps, I'll do nicely. While I'm checking all this, I think we should just weather and time of day. I want it dry for this. And then we'll do a wet benchmark after that.
Welcome to the Magic City. We're here at the Miami International Autodrome, the home of the Hard Rock Stadium, a multi-purpose sports and entertainment hub which has hosted Super Bowls, Baseball World Series. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position.
Not today, he's in ninth today.
Next to them is George Russell. As we continue through the rest of the grid today,
As Leclerc spun out.
Leclerc, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Sainz, Joe, Tsunoda, Norris, and Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Mick Schumacher.
Okay, let's get the benchmark software going. Check video settings. All the same as before, nothing has changed. Use global. Global is that 120 Hz, okay. Good position. I think we just start. straight to a GP. What can go wrong? No force feedback. I'll have to unplug the wheel mid with the game loading. Okay. It's quite difficult. At least the steering angle's correct. Just zero feedback. I appear to have auto gears as well as manual gears. Just lost all of my settings, I think. That'll do. I'll go into benchmark mode perhaps. Into settings. Assists. Custom should be all off apart from medium traction control. No force feedback. I have to restart the game. What I will do is I'll come out. I can run the benchmark. Cool. Stop that. At least we got some data. That was our first run. Ultra high. Check all those things the same. Benchmark mode. We'll let the game just run itself. Miami. One lap. Okay. In the wet, okay. Slight frame time there on the CPU, briefly. We're way under the 8.3 milliseconds required, both GPU frame time and CPU frame time. I think there's only forecast of rain for the rest of that. It's another game which you can run with the OpenXR toolkit, Open Composite, and you'll get a performance boost to that. But this is running at no problem, 120 Hz on the index. That'd be quite relaxing, don't have to do anything. For fun, I might just go to another track, maybe Imola, I like. Should give the stats at the end. There you go. Minimum frame time 8.3. Average 8.33, which is exactly what you need for 120. Maximum frame time 8.41, so sometimes we went over. It's quite a cool thing with F122, it's got a built-in benchmark mode. So there you go. If you've got an index, that's what you can get at native resolution on a 4090 and the 7800 X3D. There's a screenshot for you. I'll just stop that benchmark there. So let's have a quick look at the numbers. So that was the dry F122 Miami. Very briefly, that was only 3 minutes. And what did we have? On the GPU side, average frame time, delivered FPS was 119.57. In terms of frame time, median was 4.5. The low 1% was 6.1 milliseconds. And the 99.9 percentile, or the low 0.1%, was 8.2 milliseconds on the GPU. And for the CPU, the low 1% was 5.9, and the low 0.1% was 8.4. So only like 1 or 2 frames went over in the wet, so that's pretty good. Sorry, that was the dry, beg your pardon. That was the dry. The wet run at Miami, it actually performed a bit better in the wet, CPU-wise. So I'll go in reverse. CPU times, low 0.1% was 7.9 milliseconds, and the low 1% was 6.4 milliseconds. Again, where anything under 8.3 milliseconds is good. And on the GPU, low 0.1% was 6.5 milliseconds, and low 1% was 6.2 milliseconds. Median 5.1, average 119.79 FPS. So basically, it ran it no sweat on the index at 120 Hz, which isn't a surprise because it'll run on Ultra on the G2 as well at 90 Hz. But yeah, that's it. I might actually stop there. So that's coming to 2 hours now. So where's our little thingy-mabob? Hey, where'd our sound go? Yeah. Right. So, I'll probably end the stream there. Thanks to everyone that tuned in and watched. I'll probably, if you're watching this back on the replay, I'll have to edit some of the start out because I spent about 20 minutes trying to figure out what was going on with my base stations, and they were performing an update since I hadn't plugged them in for a while. Figures of streaming. So to sum up what we did today, we looked at Dirt Rally 2, the dry stage, stage in the wet. This is all on the index, by the way, 120 Hz native resolution for the index. So Dirt Rally first, dry wet, then we did Assetto Corsa Competitizione, a wet race at Alton Park, then a dry race at night at Bathurst, And then we've just had a look at the Miami tracks, trying wet on F122. That was good. So there you go. Hopefully someone that's got a Valve Index and a similar setup, wondering how it performs with basically the best graphics card you can really get at the minute, and the best gaming CPU. Well, there you go. All right, that's it. I'll probably I'm gonna have to do some of this again, no doubt, on the 12900K, see how they compare. Don't know when that'll be. If there's any other specific requests you'd like to see, you can benchmark them. Just keep in mind that FPS VR that I've shown you today only works in Steam VR, so I know for a fact on the G2 the games that we've just looked at will run quicker using OpenXR Toolkit. It's just a case of capturing the frame times and presenting the data. It's just not quite as easy as it is with this app, which is a Steam VR. All right, that's it. I'm going to get out of here, watch the F1 later tonight. If you're in the UK and you're having a bank holiday weekend, hope you have a good one. And to everyone else, have a good one too. All right, see you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.